One of the new software packages that Intel have recently released is Multi-Site Director, and Acta have been very excited about that because that's now enabling us to provide a managed service for our customers. It means that we can monitor their network, monitor their PCs, monitor viruses, monitor patches. If one PC on a network hasn't got a Microsoft patch that didn't get downloaded, Multi-Site Director will alert us to that and we can correct it.
The Multi-Site Director is a software product, a software solution hosted out on the internet that allows our customers to deliver services to small medium business, to manage, monitor and maintain the small medium business's IT equipment, quite often the equipment that the customer has sold them in the first place.
With the Intel Multi-Site Director, that gives us the information straight back. If there is a problem that's going to happen in the future, we can be aware of that and we can actually take corrective action to make sure the problem doesn't work, doesn't exist in the future.
I think the way that people look at their computing requirements and how they support it is changing, and Multi-Site Director is designed to take advantage of that change. So, for example, if you take equivalent to automotive, the car industry, how many companies have a garage mechanic on staff to maintain their cars? They don't, they just go to a garage. They have a professional company contracted to service and support company cars. And in fact, they generally don't even own their company cars, they're generally leased. So we see that same approach happening with IT. As it becomes more mature, people want a more mature service model. So a professional company to maintain it, to stay on top of all the complexity, to make sure it runs efficiently, and they don't have to worry about it. And then a more efficient way of buying, purchasing and owning that equipment, so lease plans or rental plans, etc., etc. So that's trends we see in the market, and we're aim to take advantage of that. Where they find that services are being more widely accepted in the end customer, in the small business, is generally in areas like professional services, where it's very important the IT equipment is running all the time, because the people in those professional services, small businesses, are getting paid by the hour. So lawyers, accountants, estate agents, recruitment companies, etc., etc. So those sort of companies, small businesses, are generally where the uptake is highest. And then the other area is larger companies that have grown and now need to go and recruit an IT manager or an IT guy full-time, which is obviously very expensive, or they need to have a better way of servicing their equipment, so a more professional and a more systematic approach. So Multi-Site Director can support that as well. So that's one segment. Then another is companies that have grown to an extent that they now need to look at recruiting an IT guy. And to employ a full-time IT guy is obviously a big expense. Therefore, their options are to either have a more professional services company looking after them in a more systematic way, being able to offer them more support, or they employ this expensive individual, which is obviously a burden on their business.
The Intel Multi-Site Director allows us to gather information about things like servers. Are the servers on site performing correctly? Do they need any more memory? Do they need any more updates? Do they need any more hardware, and so on?
Multi-Site Director is a software product, a software solution that Intel's bringing to market that allows our resellers and our customers to deliver services to small and medium business. It's a hosted solution, it's on the internet, and they just need a web browser to access it, and then it allows them to remotely monitor and manage all the IT equipment at their customers, in trying to make them more efficient in the way they deliver their support services and their services in general.
It's given us a sort of range of services and a range of tools that allows us to be aware of what's happening on the site, be properly managing the site, and also be able to regularly visit the site and give the IT managers there a full update and picture of how their network is currently running.
We see Multi-Site Director fitting with our customers in two ways. Firstly, it helps them to deliver the services they're already delivering, but reducing their costs and making that more effective, more efficient and more profitable for them. But it does give them options to look at expanding their services and the service offerings they deliver to their customers as they have the skills and the time and the motivation to go and do so. So, for example, we're seeing customers who are using Multi-Site Director being able to deliver audit reports. In some professions like accountancy, for example, now there are legal requirements that an accountant has to have as part of European law, a report on all his IT equipment, his software licenses, proving that he owns it, that it's properly managed, controlled, etc. It's part of their audit process and part of their controls that say enforced on them. So these reports are worth money. So the customers are able to sell those reports where they weren't able to before. And it's a simple example, but it's one of many. Multi-Site Director can bring green benefits, if you like, in a number of ways. Firstly, we can help reduce the amount of travelling that needs to be done to deliver a certain service. So if you're maintaining the IT support for small businesses, you don't have to travel, or your technicians don't have to travel as much, so you're reducing fuel consumption, you're reducing the congestion on the roads, etc., etc. So that's all positive stuff. But secondly, you can use the product in quite innovative ways. So, for example, you might sell a power-saving service. So you could define with a small business that at 6 o'clock you're going to switch off every one of his machines, every one of his desktop PCs, and you can report how many of those you've actually have had to shut down. And you can then switch them all on again at 8 o'clock in the morning, so come at 8:30 when his employees turn up. There's no waiting around, rebooting machines, getting things started in the morning. They're all ready to go. That way you can cut down on the individuals that leave their machines on all the time because it's easier, they don't want to have to reboot in the morning, or they just put them into standby. You can actually force an off operation remotely, and so you can do all that remotely from your office, set it up once, leave it to run.